When should you reduce your speed to the posted limit? Part 1. Following the legal speed limit does not necessarily ensure that you are moving at a reasonable speed or prevent you from receiving a ticket for driving at excessive speeds. Any road's posted speed limit is determined by the prevailing circumstances. It describes the top speed at which you may travel when traffic is moving freely, visibility is good, your car is in good condition, and the weather is suitable. Driving conditions frequently fall short of this ideal. You must drive more slowly if any bad road conditions raise the risk of an accident occurring or the potential severity of one. Typically, it is the sole responsibility of every single driver to reduce their speed to an acceptable level below the posted limit. Although electronic variable speed limit signs might be put on some roads when conditions are quite unpredictable, it may still be wise to drive more slowly than the electronic speed limit sign suggests in these circumstances. You will always have some degree of responsibility for selecting a safe speed. Keep in mind that during a very short distance, driving conditions can change multiple times. Always be aware of the present traffic and road conditions, and reduce your speed as needed to maintain safety. A lot of traffic. When navigating through congested traffic, all drivers are required to slow down below the posted speed limit. When there are many cars on the road, there is less room between them, giving drivers less time to stop or respond. Trying to drive at or near the posted speed limit in very congested areas would almost surely result in an accident. While it is vital to travel at a slower speed when there is a lot of traffic, drivers must be careful not to go too slowly. You may receive a ticket if the speed you are going at slows down oncoming traffic. The farthest right lane of the road should always be used by drivers who feel more comfortable traveling slowly, allowing faster moving vehicles to pass on the left. A bad weather situation. In poor weather, and we're not just talking about snowstorms, you must slow down. Even a small drizzle can greatly affect sight and your car's traction on the road. Obviously, the severity of the poor weather should dictate the speed at which you drive. In light rain, a 5 miles per hour reduction in speed might be adequate, but in heavy snow, a larger decrease might be necessary. In addition to rain and snow, other bad weather conditions that would call for a slower pace include powerful winds, road ice, snow, or moisture, fog, extremely bright sun, extremely hot conditions, evening driving. Some states limit the maximum speed on specific roads at night. A sign indicating the current speed restriction is generally used to indicate this. You must drive more slowly at night, even in areas with no lower speed limits. It is substantially more difficult to spot hazards on the road ahead in the dark. Unless otherwise specified, drivers should reduce their speed when operating a vehicle in the dark by 5 to 15 miles per hour. Automobiles pulling trailers. When operating any vehicle that is hauling a trailer, drivers should slow down because it will be more difficult to retain control. The far right lane, multiple lanes of traffic traveling in the same direction, is the only permitted place for vehicles towing trailers in many states. On highways and other fast roads, such vehicles may also be subject to a 55 miles per hour or lower speed limit. For details about this situation in your area, consult your driver's manual. Zones around schools and youngsters. When traveling through a school zone or any other place where kids are likely to be present, you must slow down. The speed limits in school zones across the country reflect the significance of driving slowly around children. Unless otherwise indicated on road signage, the maximum speed limit in school zones is typically set at 20 to 30 miles per hour. In some states, there are conditions or times of day when school zone speed limits are in effect. Even if lower school zone speed limits are not currently in effect, drivers must always drive as slowly as possible around schools, parks, play areas, residential streets, and any other area where kids may be present. When should you reduce your speed to the posted limit? Part 2. Ambiguous intersections. If you cannot see at least 100 feet in each way before entering a junction and there are no stop signs posted at either entrances, the intersection is considered to be blind. When approaching and entering a blind crossroads, drivers must proceed more slowly since they might not be able to see oncoming vehicles coming from other directions. When approaching a blind intersection, the speed limit in California is 15 miles per hour. Similar speed limits, as described in the driver's manual, will be in effect in your state. In the majority of states, alleyways have a 10 to 20 mile per hour speed limit. According to California traffic regulations, unless posted signs specify otherwise, drivers are not allowed to go faster than 15 miles per hour in any alley. For information on the alley speed restrictions in their state, novice drivers should consult a recent copy of the driving manual. Lower speed limits on highways. On highways, there may be designated lower speed zones. Road signs will be used to signal the decreased speed limits, which may be temporary or permanent. In California, drivers will see a warning sign that reads restricted speed ahead at least 600 feet before the reduced speed zone. In other states, similar warning regulations will be in place. Specifics should be mentioned in the driver's manual. When entering a highway zone with lower speed, slow down gradually and drive carefully. Remember that these areas frequently have harsher penalties for speeding infractions, especially if construction or maintenance work is underway. Districts for businesses and residences. Around the United States, the primary speed restriction in residential and commercial areas ranges from 20 to 35 miles per hour. The majority of states set the speed limit in these regions at 25 or 30 miles per hour, with limits of more than 30 miles per hour or less than 25 miles per hour being uncommon. Keep in mind when there is no posted speed limit signs, prima facie speed limits apply. When driving through commercial or residential areas, be aware of any posted road signs that can suggest a reduced speed restriction. As always, if traffic is heavy or conditions are otherwise adverse, drivers must drop their speed even further below the posted limit. Animals crossing roads. When there are animals on the road or when there is a higher likelihood that animals will appear, drivers must slow down. You should always drive more cautiously and slowly if there is an animal warning sign in the shape of a diamond on the side of the road. When there are horses, farm animals, and animal-drawn vehicles on the road, drivers must considerably reduce their speed. Horses can cause fatal accidents when spooked by a moving automobile. If you need to pass a rider on a horse or a vehicle pulled by a horse, step aside to give the animal as much space as you can. The width of the road and the available space should determine how much you slow down. In general, when driving among horses, drivers should keep their speed to between 10 and 20 miles per hour.